Hi, everybody. Over the next two modules, we are going to engage in scholarly activities, including those activities that support the successful completion of a proposal for a dissertation and really that underpin the beginning of any good research. I'm going to give you all of the material and the instructions in this module, but you have 2 weeks to complete it. And I'm going to suggest an order, but you may opt to do some things out of order if it makes more sense to you. We are going to accomplish a number of things in these 2 weeks learning together. First, we're going to explore the notion of what makes a good research question and what makes a reasonable dissertation project. I know you are all excited after Dr. Glanz's modules. You're all convinced that you are going to do action research. And probably after the next modules on program eval, you'll all want to do program eval. So one warning, in the process of doing a dissertation, you will change your mind. Don't get wedded to an idea. Particularly, don't get wedded to an idea or an approach until you've benefited from the guidance of your dissertation chairperson and your committee. They will help you through the process. So don't think, I've already got it done and then I'll go talk to someone at Azrieli. Make an appointment to talk to Dr. Sokolow, myself, or someone that you want to approach as a chairperson before you go off into years, months, weeks of research. The process of selecting a chair and matching a chair to a student is something that, at the end of the day, is done by Dr. Sokolow and myself. So even though you may approach a faculty member, workload issues and who has availability to supervise also comes into play. So your best bet is to start with either Dr. Sokolow or myself before approaching a faculty member. And as Dr. Glanz said, it makes sense to only approach a faculty member when you have some clarity about what you want to do. Which means you have to have an idea in your head about what's your basic research question, what do you want to study, and also some idea in your head about how you're going to study it. And so in this first part of the module, I've prepared some resources for you on how to evaluate and construct research questions, and your assignment will be rather simple. I'm going to provide you in assignment 1, structuring and selecting research questions and methods. I'm going to provide you with 5 different research dilemmas. You have to pick 3 of them. State what you would identify as a reasonable research question and what methods or method you would use to address it. You don't need to write a whole proposal here. So for example, and I'll always give examples that are about bullying since that's my area, one of my areas, I'll pick a different one. For example, if you wanted to study teacher attitudes about special needs students, so your research question might be, are senior experienced teachers likely to have more positive attitudes towards having diverse learners and special needs students in their classrooms than novice teachers? My research methods that I would propose, and I'm going to say this in just a sentence or two, so the area of study is teacher attitudes towards special ed. My research question is, are special education attitudes towards special education students more positive, likely to be more positive in seasoned rather than novice teachers? And my methods might be, I would give a survey to both novice and experienced teachers measuring their attitudes towards teaching diverse learners. And I would compare those responses on the survey. That's all you need to do for this part of the assignment. There'll be a Dropbox. Actually, rather than a Dropbox, I'd like people to submit this assignment in a way that other people can see it. So there may be a discussion board where you post it on the discussion board so people can see your approach. You will note in looking at other people's approaches that two of us can look at the same research area with a different question and a different methodology. There isn't necessarily one correct answer. So that's part one of this module, is looking at research questions. At the same time, in part one of the module, I want you to become masters of the YU Library's array of resources for doing literature searches. You cannot be a scholar if you can't find the literature in your field. Access it, find the right pieces to read, and read them. So I'm going to give you a link to the YU Library's specific guide for Azrieli students. And if you're already familiar with doing literature searches and don't feel you need much help there, make sure that you go to the section on RepWorks, because one of your critical assignments in these modules is to create a RepWorks account for yourself, find 6 articles that that are related to your area of research. When I say your area of research, that's the topic area that you'd like to pursue in this course. You are not making a commitment that this will be your dissertation, but it's a good idea to start reading up in an area that interests you, and perhaps a dissertation topic will percolate. So you're going to find articles, you're going to create a database in RepWorks of those articles, and you're going to produce, using RepWorks, a bibliography of those 6 articles. For the second part, really for Module 2, or the second week, I'm going to ask you to read those articles and create from them a segment of a literature review. When I say a segment, let's say again that perhaps my article, my research review, my literature review will be on attitudes towards special needs students. Well, a segment, I may find articles on teachers' attitudes towards special ed students in elementary school classrooms. And I might find 6 articles on elementary school teachers' attitudes towards including special needs students. But that might only be a section of my literature review. I might also have a section of my literature review that's on secondary teachers' attitudes. I might have a section of my literature review that's on attitudes as they predict teacher behavior. I might have a section of my literature review that talks about how attitudes of teachers impact student outcomes when they're included, special needs students are included in classrooms. So you see, my literature review may have many more sections than the area that these 6 articles fit into. What I'm going to ask, in addition to you writing a mini literature review, is you indicating where this might fit. If you had a larger outline, what part of your literature review would this represent? I'm going to provide you with a lot of resources to help you through the process of writing a lit review. Some very good resources that really take you through the steps, that show you from article to critique to combined literature review, how you can create a document that is not a research paper, that is not a theoretical paper, but that is the very unique beast that we call a literature review, which is the introductory section of every proposal and every dissertation. I'm available always to take questions by email or through your posts. There'll be discussion boards on both weeks, although I'm putting all the material in Module 1 in the first week here. I'll put a discussion board in week 2 as well. I suggest that you pace yourself and think about whether, as you find the articles, you want to read them and not wait until week 2 to read them. Enjoy the materials that I've put together for you, and I look forward to reading your responses.